I knew I was in trouble the moment I opened my eyes and found a gun on the nightstand and a stranger's name flashing across every news channel in the room. The second thing I realized was worse. I was wearing his shirt. For a few long seconds, Liam Carter lay completely still beneath expensive charcoal gray sheets, staring at the ceiling while his brain tried and failed to catch up with reality. The room looked like something out of a luxury magazine spread. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked a skyline washed in pale morning light. A crystal decanter sat untouched on a polished shelf. Everything was immaculate. Everything except him. His head throbbed. His memories were a blur. He pushed himself upright, wincing as the room tilted slightly. A deep male voice echoed from the television mounted across from the bed. Sources confirmed that Damian Moretti survived last night's assassination attempt. Liam froze. The name hit him like ice water. Damian Moretti. Even people who stayed far away from crime headlines knew that name. Business mogul. Underworld legend. The man tabloids called America's most untouchable criminal. Liam looked down at the black button-up shirt hanging loosely from his frame. Definitely not his. Definitely expensive. Definitely not helping his panic. Okay, he whispered to himself. Either I'm having the weirdest dream of my life, or I've made several catastrophic decisions. He swung his legs over the edge of the bed and immediately noticed something strange. There was black ink on the inside of his wrist. Frowning, he raised his arm. A symbol had been drawn there. Not a word. Not a number. A symbol. Simple. Sharp. Deliberate. Like it meant something. Liam scrubbed at it with his thumb. Nothing happened. The mark stayed exactly where it was. Great, he muttered. Mystery tattoos. That's normal. His memory remained stubbornly empty. Rain. He remembered rain. A crowded street. Someone shouting. A pair of headlights reflecting off wet pavement. Then nothing. The bedroom door clicked open. Liam nearly jumped out of his skin. A tall man stepped inside carrying a cup of coffee. Dark suit. Dark hair. Calm expression. The kind of presence that made a room feel smaller without him saying a word. Damian Moretti looked exactly like the photos online. Maybe more intimidating in person. Liam's pulse immediately forgot how to behave. Damian's eyes landed on him. Then they moved to the symbol on Liam's wrist. Something changed. Not dramatically. Not enough for most people to notice. But Liam saw it. A flicker. A reaction. Gone almost instantly. You're awake, Damian said. His voice was low and controlled. Liam opened his mouth. I can explain. Damian raised an eyebrow. Can you? No, Liam rubbed his face. Actually, no. I have absolutely no idea how I got here. To Liam's surprise, Damian almost looked amused. Almost. That makes two of us. Liam blinked. Wait. What? Damian set the coffee down. You don't remember last night? I barely remember yesterday. Silence stretched between them. Liam expected questions. Accusations. Security guards. Instead, Damian simply studied him. Not suspiciously. Not aggressively. Like he was trying to solve a puzzle. What happened? Liam finally asked. Damian's gaze shifted once more to the mark on his wrist. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Liam looked down again. You keep staring at this thing. Damian didn't answer immediately. Outside the window, distant traffic hummed through the city. Somewhere below, a helicopter crossed the skyline. The entire world seemed to keep moving while the room remained frozen. Who drew it? Liam asked. Damian's expression hardened slightly. Do you remember anyone touching your wrist? No. Anyone giving you something? No. Anyone saying anything unusual? Liam laughed nervously. Besides waking up in the bed of the most famous crime boss in America? Damian ignored that. Think. Liam tried. Rain. Darkness. Fear. For a split second, an image flashed through his mind. A man's voice. Urgent. Desperate. Saying something he couldn't quite hear. Then it vanished. I've got nothing, Liam admitted. Damian looked away toward the windows. For the first time, he seemed genuinely troubled. That bothered Liam more than anything else. Powerful men weren't supposed to look worried. Damian, Liam said carefully. What does this symbol mean? Damian turned back toward him. The room suddenly felt colder. That, he said quietly, is exactly what I hoped you could tell me. Liam swallowed. Neither of them spoke. Then Damian's phone vibrated. He glanced at the screen. Whatever he saw made his jaw tighten. A second later, another phone started ringing somewhere in the hallway. Then another. Voices rose outside the room. Fast footsteps followed. Damian looked at the symbol one last time before meeting Liam's eyes. You need to stay here. Liam immediately hated that sentence. Why? Damian's answer came without hesitation. Because if the wrong people discover that mark is on your wrist, They'll do anything to find you. Liam's stomach dropped. Who are these people? Damien stared at him for a long moment. Then he said the last thing Liam expected to hear. The same people who have been searching for you for the last 10 years. The same people who have been searching for you for the last 10 years. The words echoed in Liam's head long after Damien left the room. 10 years. Searching for him. It would have been ridiculous if Damien had not looked completely serious when he said it. Liam sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the strange symbol on his wrist. He was 27 years old. He worked from a small design studio in Brooklyn. He paid too much rent, forgot to answer emails, and occasionally burned frozen pizza. Nobody had spent 10 years searching for him. At least, nobody he knew about. The door clicked shut behind Damien, and silence settled over the room again. Liam stood and crossed toward the window. Nearly 40 floors below, black SUVs lined the street outside the building. Men in dark suits moved between them with quiet efficiency. Security. More security than any normal businessman would ever need. His phone was gone. His wallet was gone. His memories were missing. None of this felt real. A knock interrupted his thoughts. Before he could answer, the door opened, and an older woman stepped inside carrying a tray with breakfast. She looked elegant, composed, and entirely unimpressed by whatever chaos surrounded Damien Moretti's life. "You should eat," she said. "Mr. Moretti does not like it when guests skip meals." Liam blinked. "Guests?" The corner of her mouth twitched. That is the word he used. She set the tray down and turned to leave. Then her eyes landed on the symbol on Liam's wrist. For the first time, her calm expression cracked. "Only slightly, but enough." "You have seen this before," Liam said immediately. The woman hesitated. "A long time ago." "What does it mean?" Her gaze shifted toward the closed door. "It means Mr. Moretti has been waiting for answers longer than you can imagine." Before Liam could ask another question, she left. That was not an answer. It was barely even a sentence. Liam stared after her, waiting for answers. Damien, the feared crime boss. The man whose name made news anchors lower their voices. Waiting for answers. It did not fit the image Liam had built in his head. The man he expected should have been ruthless and impatient. Instead, everyone around him seemed worried about him. A strange feeling settled in Liam's chest. Curiosity. An hour later, Liam finally convinced himself he needed fresh air, or at least distance. He left the bedroom and stepped into a hallway larger than most apartments he had lived in. The penthouse felt less like a home and more like a private fortress. Every corner was watched, every entrance guarded. As he rounded a corner, voices drifted from an open doorway. Liam slowed instinctively. "The attack should never have gotten that close," someone said. "We increased security after Chicago." Another voice answered. "He was protecting the witness." Liam froze. "Witness?" "He almost died because he would not leave the scene," the first voice continued. "He stayed until every civilian was evacuated." Liam frowned. That did not sound like the Damien Moretti described by newspapers. Curious despite himself, he peeked through the doorway. Several men sat around a conference table covered in documents. Security reports. News clippings. Photographs. One image caught Liam's attention. Damien stood beside a hospital bed speaking with a child no older than 8. Another showed him opening a new community center. Another showed him attending a charity fundraiser. Liam blinked. "What are you doing?" a voice asked behind him. Liam nearly jumped out of his skin. Damien stood several feet away, watching him. Liam pointed toward the room. "Those pictures." Damien glanced inside. "What about them?" "Nobody writes articles about those." Something unreadable crossed Damien's face. "Articles rarely make money from ordinary things." Liam stared at him. "You fund hospitals?" "Among other things." "Community programs?" "Yes." "Scholarships?" Damien sighed. "You are starting to sound disappointed." Liam laughed once. "I am confused." To his surprise, Damien actually smiled. A small one. Brief enough that Liam almost missed it. It transformed his entire face. Then it disappeared. A sharp buzz interrupted the moment. One of Damien's men hurried down the hallway carrying a tablet. His expression looked grim. "Sir." Damien took the device. Liam watched the color drain from his face. Whatever he was reading, he did not like it. "What happened?" Liam asked. Nobody answered. Damien's jaw tightened. The atmosphere shifted instantly. The calm vanished. Every person in the hallway seemed to tense. Damien turned the screen toward one of his security chiefs. "How did they find this?" The man looked alarmed. "We do not know yet." Liam caught a glimpse of the screen. His breath stopped. A photograph filled the display. It was grainy security footage from somewhere he did not recognize. But the person in the image was unmistakably him, standing in heavy rain, looking directly into the camera. And on the wall behind him was the exact same symbol that appeared on his wrist. The timestamp was dated 10 years earlier. Liam's voice came out barely above a whisper. That is impossible. Damien looked at him. For the first time since they met, there was genuine concern in his eyes. That is exactly the problem. For several seconds, nobody moved. Liam stared at the image on the tablet while his mind searched desperately for an explanation that made sense. There was none. The boy in the photograph looked exactly like him. The same eyes, the same dark hair, even the same slight tilt of the head. The timestamp in the corner refused to cooperate with reality. 10 years ago, Liam should have been 17. The boy in the image looked no older than 7. This has to be fake, Liam said. His voice sounded distant even to himself. Damien did not answer immediately. He took the tablet and enlarged the image. We already checked. Liam looked at him. Checked what? Everything. Damien's expression remained calm, but there was tension beneath it. The footage is authentic. Liam felt his stomach tighten. Then somebody altered it. Our analysts looked for signs of manipulation. Damien shook his head. They found none. The hallway suddenly felt too small. Liam stepped back. That is impossible. I know. For the first time, Damien sounded genuinely frustrated. Not angry. Frustrated. Like he had spent years chasing answers that continued slipping through his fingers. One of the security men cleared his throat. Sir, there is something else. Damien turned toward him. The man handed over a thin folder. Liam noticed the date printed across the top. 10 years ago. The same year as the photograph. Damien opened it without hesitation. His eyes moved across the pages. Then something unexpected happened. His expression changed. Not dramatically, just enough. Concern became surprise. Surprise became disbelief. Liam noticed it immediately. What is it? Damien looked up. Silence stretched. Then he handed over the folder. You should see this yourself. Liam accepted it carefully. Inside was a hospital record. He frowned. The name listed on the page was unfamiliar. Daniel Carter. His father. Liam's heartbeat slowed, then accelerated all at once. He had not heard his father's name mentioned in years. Daniel Carter had died when Liam was young. A car accident. At least, that was what everyone had always told him. Liam continued reading. The report was dated 6 months before the supposed accident. According to the document, Daniel Carter had been admitted to a hospital under emergency protection. Liam blinked. Emergency protection? He flipped another page. The next report referenced a witness interview. Another mentioned federal investigators. A third page had entire sections blacked out. Liam stared at the documents. What is this? Damien folded his arms. That is what I have been trying to understand. Liam looked up sharply. You knew my father? No. Then why do you have hospital records about him? Damien exhaled slowly. Because his name appeared in the same investigation connected to that symbol. Liam glanced down at his wrist. The marks suddenly felt heavier. More important. More dangerous. The hallway fell silent again. Finally, Liam asked the question that had been bothering him from the beginning. Why are you helping me? Several security guards exchanged looks. Damien remained still. Because somebody helped me once. Liam frowned. Damien's gaze shifted toward the city beyond the windows. 10 years ago, there was a warehouse fire. Liam remembered the outline from the photograph. The rain. The symbol. The strange connection. Damien continued quietly. Everyone believed I would die in that building. But you did not. No. A faint smile appeared. Not happy. More nostalgic. Someone got me out. Liam stared at him. The boy from the photograph? Damien nodded once. I spent years searching for him. The answer surprised Liam more than it should have. Everything people said about Damien Moretti painted him as cold and untouchable. Yet the man standing before him sounded like someone haunted by gratitude. Someone carrying an old debt. And you think that boy is connected to me? Liam asked. I know he is. Damien's voice was certain. The question is how. Before Liam could respond, another memory flickered through his mind. Fast. Unclear. A hospital corridor. White walls. Bright lights. Someone holding his hand. A man's voice saying, no matter what happens, you cannot tell them your name. The image vanished instantly. Liam sucked in a sharp breath. Damien noticed. What happened? Liam pressed his fingers against his temple. I remembered something. Everyone in the hallway seemed to focus on him at once. Liam repeated the words slowly. The sentence. The warning. The strange memory. Damien's face grew serious. Are you sure? Yes. Did you recognize the voice? Liam shook his head. No. Damien looked troubled, more troubled than before. One of the security men stepped closer. Sir, there is another issue. Damien turned. The man lowered his voice. Liam could not hear everything. Only fragments. Foundation records. Private scholarship. Sealed beneficiaries. Damien's eyes narrowed. Show me. The tablet changed hands again. Liam watched Damien scan the information. Then something genuinely shocking happened. Damien looked directly at him. Liam. What? Your college scholarship. Liam blinked. What about it? Who paid for it? Liam laughed nervously. A charitable foundation, I guess. Damien remained silent. That silence was answer enough. Liam's smile disappeared. What are you saying? Damien turned the screen toward him. A foundation logo appeared at the top of the page. Beneath it sat years of financial records. Scholarship recipients. Protected identities. Private funding. At the very bottom was a signature. Damien Moretti. Liam stared at the screen. Then at Damien. Then back at the screen again. You paid for my education? Damien looked just as surprised as he did. No. Liam's pulse quickened. Then why is your name on the records? Damien's expression darkened. That is exactly what I want to know. Liam looked down once more. There, attached to the scholarship file, was a note dated nearly 15 years earlier. A note written long before either of them supposedly knew the other existed. It contained only one sentence. Protect the Carter boy until the truth is safe to reveal. Beneath the message was a signature neither of them recognized. The question hit Liam before he could stop it. If someone had been secretly protecting him since childhood, then who had been watching his life all these years? The note lingered in Liam's mind long after everyone else left the hallway. Protect the Carter boy until the truth is safe to reveal. The words felt less like a message and more like a shadow stretching across his entire life. That evening, the penthouse grew quieter. The endless stream of security updates slowed. Phones stopped ringing. Conversations faded behind closed doors. For the first time since waking up there, Liam found himself alone with his thoughts. He stood near the enormous windows overlooking Manhattan as dusk painted. The city in gold and blue. Somewhere below, thousands of people were living ordinary lives. Going home, meeting friends, ordering takeout. None of them were discovering that their childhood might have been built on secrets. A soft knock interrupted him. Liam turned to find Damien standing in the doorway holding 2 mugs. Coffee? Damien asked. Liam accepted one. I am beginning to think coffee is your solution for everything. A faint smile touched Damien's face. It works more often than you would expect. They stood beside the windows in comfortable silence. It surprised Liam how little effort the silence required. Most powerful people he had met filled every moment with noise. Damien seemed different. He never rushed conversations. He never demanded attention. He simply waited. Eventually Liam spoke. My father never talked about his past. Damien glanced toward him. Neither did mine. Liam looked over. You had a good relationship with your family? Damien's expression answered before his words did. Not exactly. Something in his voice made Liam pause. Damien rarely revealed anything personal. Liam set his mug down. You do not have to talk about it. I know. Damien looked out across the skyline. My father believed trust was weakness. The statement landed quietly. That sounds exhausting, Liam said. It was. Damien's reflection stared back from the glass. He spent his entire life preparing for betrayal. Eventually he stopped seeing people. He only saw threats. Liam found himself watching him. For the first time, Damien looked less like the intimidating figure from the news, and more like someone carrying old scars nobody could see. You are not like him, Liam said. Damien looked genuinely surprised. You barely know me. Maybe. Liam shrugged. But every article says you are ruthless. Every news report says you are dangerous. Yet somehow I keep finding evidence that you fund hospitals, scholarships, shelters, and community programs. Damien laughed softly. You make that sound suspicious. Because it is. The laughter faded, but the warmth remained. For a moment neither of them looked away. Liam felt something shift between them. Not romance. Not yet. Something simpler. Trust beginning to form. Damien finally broke eye contact first. Your father protected something. Liam's attention snapped back. You think so? I know so. Damien walked toward a nearby table and picked up a thin file. We found additional records. Liam joined him. Inside were photographs, hospital documents, financial reports. Nothing dramatic. Nothing explosive. Yet together they painted a strange picture. Daniel Carter had moved frequently, changed jobs repeatedly, closed bank accounts without explanation, opened new ones under different addresses. Why would someone do all this? Liam asked. Damien studied one of the papers. Someone hiding from danger might. A chill ran through Liam. Or hiding a secret. Damien nodded. That too. Liam stared at the documents. Every answer seemed to create 3 more questions. He rubbed his temples. I do not even know what is real anymore. The words slipped out before he could stop them. Damien was quiet for a moment. Then he said, I know that feeling. Liam looked up. Damien's voice remained calm, but there was something heavier beneath it. After the fire 10 years ago, everyone around me had a different version of what happened. Different stories. Different motives. I stopped knowing who to believe. What did you do? Damien met his eyes. I kept searching until I found the truth. The answer should have sounded simple. Instead, it felt deeply personal. Liam realized that Damien was not helping him because of obligation. He understood him. The realization settled warmly in Liam's chest. Suddenly, a notification chimed from the tablet resting on the table. Damien picked it up. His expression changed instantly. Liam noticed. What happened? Damien did not answer right away. He stared at the screen for several long seconds. Then he handed it over. It was an old photograph. A family picture. Liam recognized his father immediately. Daniel Carter stood smiling beside another man whose face had been partially damaged by time. The image quality was poor, faded, ancient, but one detail remained perfectly visible. Around the second man's neck hung a pendant bearing the exact same symbol that appeared on Liam's wrist. Liam felt his pulse quicken. Who is he? Damien's gaze remained fixed on the image. That is what we are trying to identify. Liam enlarged the photograph. His stomach tightened. There was something else in the picture. Something he had missed at first glance. Standing between the 2 men was a young boy. His face was blurry, nearly impossible to distinguish. But one thing stood out immediately. The child was not Liam. Damien saw it too. Silence filled the room. The implications crashed into both of them at once. If the mysterious child in the photograph was connected to the symbol, connected to Daniel Carter, and connected to the fire from 10 years ago, then the foundation of everything they believed was already beginning to crack. Liam slowly lowered the tablet. If that is not me, he whispered, then who was my father really protecting? The question followed Liam long after midnight. He sat alone in one of the penthouse lounges, the old photograph resting on the table in front of him. The city lights shimmered beyond the glass, but he barely noticed them. His attention remained fixed on the blurry child standing between his father and the unidentified man with the pendant. If that child was not him, then the story he had been building in his head was wrong. Worse, it meant somebody had been hiding the truth for years. A quiet sound pulled him from his thoughts. Footsteps. Liam glanced up and saw Damien crossing the room, carrying another folder. Please tell me that contains good news, Liam said. Damien did not smile. That answer alone made Liam uneasy. Damien set the folder down and took a seat across from him. For a moment, neither man spoke. Then Damien slid a single document across the table. Liam looked down. His stomach dropped instantly. It was an adoption record. His name sat clearly at the top of the page. Liam Carter. His hands tightened around the paper. This is wrong. Damien remained silent. Liam scanned the document again. The date matched. The signatures matched. Everything looked authentic. According to the record, Daniel Carter was not Liam's biological father. He had legally adopted him when Liam was 7 years old. 7. The same age as the child in the photograph. Liam felt the room tilt slightly. No. His voice came out quieter than intended. No, my father would have told me. Damien's expression softened. Would he? The question hurt because Liam could not answer it. His entire life had been built around assumptions. His father had always avoided conversations about the past. Whenever Liam asked questions, Daniel changed the subject. At the time, it seemed harmless. Now it felt deliberate. Liam pushed back from the table. You knew? Damien did not deny it. That hurt even more. How long? Liam demanded. Damien met his eyes. Since this afternoon. That is not what I asked. Silence. Liam suddenly understood. The realization struck harder than the document itself. You knew before I arrived here. Damien looked away. That tiny movement was all the confirmation Liam needed. Anger flared instantly. You knew? Damien exhaled slowly. Not everything. But enough. Liam stood. Enough to hide it from me. I was trying to verify the information, while letting me trust you. The words echoed through the room. Damien remained seated. Calm. Controlled. Liam hated that. Every conversation. Every answer. Every time you acted like we were discovering this together. His chest tightened. You already knew. Damien rose to his feet. Liam, do not. Liam stepped back. Do not stand there and act like this was for my benefit. For the first time since they met, Damien looked genuinely troubled. You think I wanted this? I think you have been manipulating me since the moment I woke up. The accusation hung heavily between them. Damien said nothing. That silence felt like betrayal. Liam laughed once. The sound carried no humor. The scholarship. He pointed toward the folders. The surveillance. The records. The protection. You have been watching my life for years. Damien's jaw tightened. Yes. Liam froze. The honesty stunned him. Damien continued before he could respond. Because somebody asked me to. Who? I do not know. Liam stared at him. You expect me to believe that? I expect you to believe the truth. Damien's voice remained steady. 15 years ago I received instructions connected to the same symbol. Protect the Carter boy. Make sure he reaches adulthood safely. Make sure he receives an education. Make sure nobody finds him. Liam felt every word hit like a falling brick. And you just obeyed? Damien looked directly at him. The request came from the man who saved my life. The room fell silent. Liam's anger wavered. Only slightly. Damien continued quietly. The boy from the fire was never the person I was searching for. Liam frowned. What? Damien walked toward the photograph and placed a finger over the blurred child. I thought this child saved me. His gaze lifted. I was wrong. Liam's heartbeat quickened. Damien's next words changed everything. Your father saved me. Liam stopped breathing. What? Daniel Carter was the person who pulled me from that building. Damien's voice carried none of its usual certainty now. Only regret. I spent 10 years chasing the wrong person. Liam stared at him. Every assumption shattered at once. The fire. The symbol. The search. None of it had been what he believed. Damien had not been protecting Liam because he thought Liam was his rescuer. He had been protecting him because of a promise made to Daniel Carter. A promise he had kept for 15 years. Suddenly the scholarships, the records, the hidden support, all of it looked different. Yet instead of relief, Liam felt even more betrayed. You should have told me. Damien lowered his gaze briefly. I know. Before Liam could answer, a sharp alert sounded from the security system. Both men turned. One of Damien's security chiefs rushed into the room carrying a tablet. His face had gone pale. Sir. Damien took the device. Liam watched the color drain from his expression. What happened? Damien stared at the screen for several long seconds. Then he looked up. For the first time, Liam saw genuine alarm in his eyes. The DNA results just came back. Liam's pulse stopped. Damien swallowed once before speaking. Liam, Daniel Carter was not your biological father. He paused. And according to this report, neither was the woman who raised you. Neither was the woman who raised you. The words echoed through Liam's mind long after the room had fallen silent. He could not process them. He did not want to process them. Every answer he had uncovered over the past 2 days seemed to erase another piece of his life. His father was not his biological father. His mother was not his biological mother. The childhood he remembered suddenly felt like a photograph with the center cut out. Liam barely remembered leaving the lounge. One moment he was staring at Damien, and the next he was standing alone in a guest suite overlooking the city. The lights outside blurred together. Somewhere below, traffic flowed through the streets as if the world had not just tilted sideways. A soft knock came from the door. Liam did not answer. The door opened anyway. The older housekeeper stepped inside carrying a tray. Soup. Tea. A sandwich he had no intention of eating. You should have something, she said gently. Liam laughed without humor. Did Damien send you? She hesitated. That was answer enough. Liam looked away. Tell him thank you. The woman studied him for a moment. He has not stopped working since the results arrived. Liam remained silent. He is worried about you. That only made things worse. After she left, Liam stared at the untouched food for nearly an hour. Part of him wanted to be angry. Another part wanted answers. The problem was that Damien stood in the center of both emotions. Every new discovery seemed connected to him. Every hidden record. Every secret scholarship. Every surveillance file. Every piece of protection Liam never knew existed. He had spent years unknowingly benefiting from Damien's choices. Yet Damien had never told him. Trust required truth. And right now Liam did not know if he could trust anything. Sometime after midnight, exhaustion finally pulled him into restless sleep. Dreams came immediately. Fragments. Hospital lights. Rain against glass. A man kneeling in front of him. Liam could never see the face clearly. Only a voice. Calm. Urgent. You must remember this. The dream shifted. A silver pendant. The symbol. A door closing. Then another voice. Different this time. Promise me nobody finds him. Liam woke with a sharp breath. His heart raced. The room remained dark except for moonlight spilling across the floor. For several seconds, he sat perfectly still. Then he noticed something unusual. A folder rested on the bedside table. He knew it had not been there before. Liam reached for it cautiously. Inside was a collection of photographs. Not investigation files. Not surveillance reports. Personal moments. School pictures. Graduation photos. Images from charity events. There was even a photograph of Liam receiving an academic award during college. His stomach tightened. He remembered that day. The auditorium. The applause. The scholarship that had changed his life. He had never noticed the man standing near the back of the room. Damien. Much younger. Watching from a distance. Liam turned to another photograph. Then another. Damien appeared in all of them. Never close. Never obvious. Always somewhere in the background. Protecting. Observing. Making sure Liam was safe. 15 years. 15 years of quiet intervention. The discovery should have softened his anger. Instead, it complicated everything. Because now he could see the sacrifice. The time. The effort. Yet he could also see the secrecy. The manipulation. The choices made without his knowledge. Liam closed the folder. Sleep never returned. The following morning, he avoided Damien entirely. Whenever he heard footsteps in the hallway, he changed direction. Whenever a meeting ended, he found another room. The distance felt necessary. If he saw Damien, he might demand answers neither of them possessed. Late that afternoon, Liam wandered into the penthouse library. Sunlight filtered through towering shelves lined with leather-bound books. For the first time in hours, he felt calm. Then he heard familiar voices. Instinctively, he stopped. The library door stood slightly open. Beyond it, Damien was speaking with his security chief. "He cannot know yet," the chief said quietly. Liam froze. "I am aware of that," Damien replied. "Then what do we tell him?" A long silence followed. Liam stepped closer without thinking. Damien's voice came next. Low. Heavy. "Nothing until we confirm it." Liam's pulse quickened. "Confirm what?" The chief sounded uneasy. "If the records are accurate, everything changes." Damien did not answer immediately. When he finally spoke, his voice carried something Liam had never heard before. "Fear. That is exactly what worries me." Liam's hand tightened around the edge of the door. The records. The DNA results. Another secret. Another truth being hidden from him. And whatever Damien had just learned sounded far more dangerous than anything they had uncovered so far. The records are accurate. The words refused to leave Liam's head. He slipped away from the library before anyone noticed he had been listening, but the damage was already done. Whatever Damien had discovered, he was hiding it. Just like he had hidden the adoption records. Just like he had hidden 15 years of protection. Just like he had hidden the truth about Daniel Carter. By the time evening settled over the city, Liam had reached a conclusion he hated. He could not stay there any longer. Trust had become impossible. Every answer came wrapped inside another secret. Every moment of connection now felt uncertain. He packed quietly. There was not much to gather. A few borrowed clothes. A charger one of the staff had found for him. The folder of photographs remained on the desk. Liam stared at it for a long time before leaving it behind. He could not take it with him. Looking at those images hurt too much. Because despite everything, they proved one thing. Damien had cared. Maybe not in the way Liam wanted. Maybe not honestly. But he had cared. The realization only made leaving harder. The private elevator carried him toward the garage. His reflection stared back from the polished steel walls. He barely recognized himself anymore. 2 days ago, he thought he knew exactly who he was. Now he did not know his biological family. He did not know why people had been protecting him. He did not know why strangers had searched for him for more than a decade. Most painfully of all, he no longer knew what Damien truly meant to him. The garage was nearly empty. A driver waited beside a black sedan. "Mr. Carter?" the man asked politely. Liam nodded. "Airport?" "No." Liam hesitated. "Just take me home." The driver opened the door. They had barely traveled 3 blocks before Liam's phone vibrated. Damien's name flashed across the screen. Liam stared at it. The call ended. Seconds later, another arrived. Then another. Liam silenced the phone. His chest tightened. He knew Damien was trying to explain. He knew part of him wanted to listen. But another part felt exhausted. Tired of secrets. Tired of being protected instead of trusted. The city blurred past the windows. Rain began falling lightly against the glass. Somehow it always seemed to rain whenever his life fell apart. 40 minutes later, Liam stood outside his apartment building in Brooklyn. The familiar brick exterior should have felt comforting. Instead, it looked strangely distant, like a place that belonged to someone else. He climbed the stairs and unlocked the door. Silence greeted him. His small apartment remained exactly as he had left it. Books on the shelf, sketches pinned to the wall, half-finished projects scattered across his desk. Proof that a normal life had existed before all of this. Liam dropped onto the couch and buried his face in his hands. The loneliness hit him immediately. At the penthouse, there had always been movement. Conversations. Security updates. Damien appearing unexpectedly with coffee or answers or questions. Here there was nothing. Just silence. Hours passed. Darkness settled outside. Liam eventually opened his laptop and began searching through old files. Family photographs. School records. Medical documents. Anything. He needed something real. Something that belonged to him. Near midnight, he found an old scanned newspaper clipping tucked inside a forgotten folder. Daniel Carter stood in the photograph. Younger. Smiling. Beside him was the same unidentified man from the faded picture they had found earlier. Liam leaned closer. Beneath the image was a headline. Community volunteers honored for child advocacy program. His pulse quickened. Child advocacy. He continued reading. Most of the article had been damaged by age, but one sentence remained visible. The program provided safe placement services for children whose identities required legal protection. Liam stared at the screen. Legal protection. The phrase sounded painfully familiar. A sharp knock rattled his apartment door. Liam froze. Nobody visited this late. The knock came again. Harder this time. His heartbeat accelerated. Slowly he crossed the room and looked through the peephole. Nobody stood outside. Confused, he opened the door. The hallway was empty. Completely empty. Then he noticed the envelope lying on the floor. No stamp. No address. Only his name written across the front. Liam picked it up with trembling fingers and carried it inside. Something about it felt wrong. Important. Dangerous. He opened the seal carefully. Inside was a single photograph. Nothing else. No explanation. No note. Liam stared at the image and felt the blood drain from his face. It showed a hospital room from many years ago. A small boy sat on a bed. A silver pendant hung around his neck. The symbol was clearly visible. The child looked directly at the camera. For the first time, the face was not blurred. For the first time, there was no uncertainty. The boy was Liam. And standing beside him with one hand resting protectively on his shoulder was Damien Moretti. For several seconds Liam could not breathe. He stared at the photograph as if looking hard enough might change it. It did not. The child was him. Younger. Frightened. Wearing the pendant that had haunted every mystery surrounding his life. And beside him stood Damien. Not the man Liam had met days ago, but a much younger version of him. Still unmistakable. Still protective. Still watching over him. A sharp knock exploded against the apartment door before Liam could process another thought. His entire body tensed. The knock came again. Urgent. Relentless. Liam crossed the room and opened the door. Damien stood there. Rain soaked the shoulders of his coat. His expression looked nothing like the calm control he normally carried. He looked worried. Genuinely worried. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Damien's eyes dropped to the photograph in Liam's hand. Understanding crossed his face immediately. "You got one too," he said quietly. Liam frowned. "What does that mean?" Damien stepped inside and closed the door behind him. "It means they finally made their move." Liam's patience snapped. "Stop." Damien froze. "Liam." "No." Liam shook his head. "No more half-truths. No more secrets. No more protecting me from information that belongs to me." His voice cracked despite his best effort. "You knew me." Silence. "You knew me before any of this started." Damien looked at the photograph, then back at Liam. Finally he nodded. "Yes." The answer hurt, even though Liam already knew it. Damien continued before he could speak. "I met you when you were 7 years old." Liam felt the room sway. "Why?" "Because your father brought you to me." Liam blinked. "What?" Damien pulled a folded document from inside his coat. Carefully he placed it on the table. "I was not protecting you because of a mystery." His voice remained steady. "I was protecting you because Daniel Carter asked me to." Liam opened the document. It was a letter. Old. Worn. Signed by Daniel Carter himself. His hands trembled as he read. "If anything happens to me, promise me you will protect Liam. Promise me he will have a future. Promise me he will never know why people are looking for him until it is safe." Liam read the sentence twice. Then 3 times. His vision blurred. "He trusted you," Liam whispered. "He saved my life," Damien replied. "And I owed him everything." The room fell silent. Years of assumptions began collapsing all at once. Damien had never searched for Liam because of obsession. He had never manipulated him for personal gain. He had been carrying a promise made to the man Liam called father, a promise he had honored for 15 years. Before Liam could respond, Damien's phone rang. The moment he answered, the color drained from his face. When? He demanded. A pause. How many? Another pause. Damien closed his eyes briefly. We are coming. He ended the call. Liam's stomach tightened immediately. What happened? Damien looked at him. The people behind all of this released everything. Everything. Damien nodded grimly. The photograph. The pendant. Your name. The symbol. Liam felt cold. Why? Because they want you exposed. 20 minutes later, they arrived at a conference center in Manhattan. The building buzzed with reporters, investigators, lawyers, and representatives from organizations tied to the old case. Cameras flashed everywhere. Voices echoed through crowded hallways. The moment Liam entered, dozens of heads turned toward him. The attention felt suffocating. A large screen dominated the front of the room. On it appeared the same photograph from his apartment, the same pendant, the same symbol. An older man stood at the podium. For years, he announced, certain individuals concealed critical information connected to this case, including Damien Moretti. Murmurs erupted across the room. Liam felt every eye shift toward Damien. The speaker continued. The evidence suggests Mr. Moretti manipulated records, concealed identities, and interfered with investigations. Liam's chest tightened. That was the story everyone already wanted to believe. The dangerous businessman. The powerful fixer. The guilty man. The speaker raised another document. We believe he had Liam Carter for his own interests. The room exploded with questions. Reporters shouted. Cameras flashed. Liam looked toward Damien. Waiting. Hoping. For one terrible second, Damien said nothing. Then he walked forward. Straight toward the podium. Straight into the center of every accusation. The room slowly quieted. Damien accepted a microphone. You are right about one thing, he said calmly. I protected Liam Carter. More cameras flashed. More whispers spread. Damien never looked away. I protected him for 15 years. Liam's heart sank. Then Damien continued. Because his father asked me to. The room went silent. Complete silence. Damien held up Daniel Carter's original letter. Every camera immediately focused on it. Daniel Carter was not a criminal. Damien's voice carried through the room. He was a witness. A protector. A man who sacrificed everything to keep a child safe. He turned toward Liam. Every scholarship. Every record, every intervention came from that promise. Another screen lit up behind him. Hospital records, legal documents, financial reports, decades of evidence. Piece by piece, the truth appeared. Daniel Carter had protected children under federal supervision. The pendant represented a classified witness program. Liam had been one of those children. The room shifted instantly. Accusations became disbelief. Disbelief became understanding. The entire narrative collapsed. Damien looked back at the crowd. If anyone wishes to blame someone for protecting Liam Carter, blame me. His voice hardened. But do not question his character. Do not question his father. And do not use him as a weapon in a story you do not understand. Liam felt something crack open inside his chest. For the first time since this nightmare began, Damien was not protecting him from the truth. He was standing beside him in it. Then a woman near the front row suddenly stood. Her face had gone pale. She stared at the documents on the screen before whispering words that silenced the room all over again. That is impossible. Everyone turned toward her. She pointed directly at Liam. Tears filled her eyes. Because if those records are real. Her voice broke. Then Liam Carter is my son. The room remained silent long after the woman spoke. Liam could hear cameras clicking. He could hear people whispering. Yet everything sounded distant, as though the world had suddenly moved several feet away from him. The woman looked at him with trembling eyes. She could not have been much older than her late 40s. Tears streaked down her cheeks as she clutched the edge of her chair. My name is Evelyn Hart, she said softly. And 20 years ago, I lost my son. Liam stood frozen. Every instinct told him this could not be happening. He had spent days uncovering secrets buried across decades. Surely there could not be one more truth waiting at the end. Yet when investigators began reviewing the newly released witness protection files, the pieces finally fit together. 20 years earlier, Evelyn and her husband had agreed to testify against a criminal network that targeted vulnerable families and children. Their identities had been exposed before the trial. Emergency protection programs had moved several children to safe locations under new identities. Liam had been one of them. His biological parents had survived, but contact had been permanently severed to keep everyone alive. Daniel Carter and his wife had volunteered through the same protection program. They became Liam's legal guardians and raised him as their own. The room slowly transformed from confusion into understanding. The mysterious symbol, the hidden records, the scholarship, the surveillance, the years of protection. Every piece traced back to one decision made long ago. Keep a child safe until the danger was gone. Liam felt tears sting his eyes as he stared at the evidence projected across the screens. Daniel Carter had never lied because he wanted to deceive him. He had carried an impossible responsibility. He had sacrificed recognition, freedom, and the truth itself to protect a child who was not biologically his. Suddenly Liam understood why Damien had honored him so fiercely. Daniel Carter had not simply saved Damien from a fire. He had spent years saving people, including Liam. Hours later, the conference center had emptied. Lawyers remained. Investigators continued sorting documents. But the biggest mystery was finally over. The organization responsible for the old threats had long since been dismantled. The sealed records had remained hidden only because the final legal protections had not expired until recently. The danger was gone. The truth was finally safe. Near midnight, Liam found himself standing alone on a quiet terrace overlooking the city. Cool air brushed across his face. For the first time in days, the weight on his chest felt lighter. Footsteps approached behind him. He did not need to turn around to know who it was. Damien stopped beside him. Neither spoke immediately. Manhattan glittered beneath them like a sea of stars. Eventually, Liam broke the silence. "You should have told me." Damien nodded. "I know. No excuses. No arguments. Just honesty." Somehow that made it easier. Liam looked down at his hands. "I spent so much time thinking you were controlling my life." Damien remained quiet. Maybe part of me wanted to believe that. Liam laughed softly. It was easier than believing someone would spend 15 years protecting a stranger. Damien finally looked at him. "You were never a stranger." The words settled gently between them. Liam turned toward him. "Why?" Damien's expression softened. "At first it was because of a promise." He glanced toward the skyline. "Then because I respected your father." His voice lowered. "And eventually because I cared about you." Liam felt his heart tighten. Not painfully this time. Warmly. Everything that had happened between them flashed through his mind. The coffee, the arguments, the hidden photographs, the endless protection, the way Damien always seemed to appear when Liam needed someone most. None of it had been manipulation. None of it had been obligation. Somewhere along the way it had become something real. "You make it very difficult to stay angry at you," Liam admitted. A genuine smile appeared on Damien's face. It was rare enough to feel like sunlight breaking through clouds. "I have been told that before." Liam laughed for the first time in what felt like forever. The sound surprised both of them. It felt good, honest, human. Months passed. Life slowly settled into something new. Evelyn became part of Liam's life, not as a replacement for the parents who raised him, but as a new chapter neither of them expected to receive. Together, they visited Daniel Carter's grave. Together, they honored the people who had sacrificed so much to protect him. Liam returned to his design work and eventually launched a nonprofit creative scholarship program in Daniel's name. Damien quietly funded the first year without putting his name anywhere on the paperwork. Some habits never changed. The public misconceptions surrounding the old case faded as the full truth became known. Daniel Carter's reputation was restored. The Witness Protection Program received recognition for the lives it had saved. And for the first time, Liam no longer felt trapped between identities. He did not have to choose between past and present. Both belonged to him. One spring evening, nearly a year after everything began, Liam stood inside a new office overlooking the Hudson River. Scholarship applications covered the desk. Community projects filled the walls. The future looked brighter than he had ever imagined. A familiar voice came from the doorway. "You missed dinner." Liam looked up. Damien leaned against the frame holding 2 cups of coffee. Some things truly never changed. Liam smiled and crossed the room. No mysteries remained between them now. No secrets. No hidden files. Just 2 people who had survived a complicated journey and chosen each other anyway. Damien handed him a cup. Their hands brushed briefly. Simple, comfortable, real. Together they moved toward the windows and watched the sunset paint the city gold. For the first time in his life, Liam was no longer searching for where he belonged, because home had been quietly standing beside him all along.